Everyone talks about the shift. Nobody talks about what comes right after it. That quiet, strange, that room that doesn't quite look the way you imagined it. That's not failure. That's what arrival really feels like. And the strange part, it isn't that it's hard. The strange part is that it isn't. It's just different, quieter than you expected, more ordinary. And you don't quite have the language for that yet. Welcome to Daily Power Boost. I'm Sean Michael. This isn't a podcast about pushing harder or fixing yourself. It's a space to see clearly how your experience is actually being created. Each episode offers a simple shift in understanding, not a tactic, not a hustle, a clearer view of thought, identity, and the patterns you've been living inside. Because when misunderstanding drops, relief rises, energy returns. You move forward with calm, sovereign clarity. This is your Daily Power Boost. Welcome back to Daily Power Boost. You did the work. Something real shifted. You're not who you were 12 months ago, and you know it. But standing in the new place doesn't feel the way you thought it would. There's no fanfare or sudden clarity, just an unfamiliar room you worked hard to get into, and the quiet realization that you don't know where anything is yet. That's not a problem. That's the first day of new ground. We closed season 7 with a specific line. You are what the work was for. Not the arrival or the outcome, you. That line was true, and I meant a landing, not a destination. Landing somewhere new is only the beginning of the work. The shift gets you to the new ground. What you do once you're standing on it is a different practice entirely. That's where we're going starting today. Someone I worked with finished a significant season of personal work a few months ago. Real work, the kind that changes how you see yourself, not just how you behave. And when it ended, when that container lifted and the structure was gone, she hit a rough patch. Not a collapse or a crisis, a rough patch, right after. What stopped me was the timing, because from the outside, everything was fine. The shift had happened. The work was done. By every measure, she was further along than she'd been in years. But in the absence of the container, the thing that had been holding the new identity while it was still forming, left her briefly without a floor. She didn't lose the shift. She just lost the scaffolding around it. Notice where that landed. That's not a personal failing. That's physics. Here's what most people do with that feeling. They pathologize it. They go looking for a problem that explains the disorientation. Maybe I chose the wrong thing. What if the shift wasn't real? What if I'm further behind than I thought? They turn the unfamiliarity into evidence of failure. But the unfamiliarity isn't evidence of failure, it's evidence of arrival. The old identity had a map. It knew every room, exit, every way to manage what came through the door. The new identity doesn't have that yet. It's operating in territory it hasn't charted. That's not a flaw in the shift. That's what a real shift actually feels like from the inside. The disorientation after a genuine identity shift isn't a sign something went wrong. It's a sign something went right. You're not lost, you're just in a place the old map doesn't cover. When you stop trying to resolve the unfamiliarity and start letting yourself inhabit it, something shifts. You're in a conversation and someone asks how you're doing. Instead of defaulting to the answer the old identity kept you ready, you pause. The true answer is more specific than it used to be. You're not fine or busy. You're somewhere more precise than that, and you're starting to have the language for it. Or you make a decision and you don't immediately check it against the old standard. You don't ask yourself if this is what the previous version of you would have done. You just make it and move. Perhaps you wake up in a season that looks quieter than the last one, and you don't read that quiet as stagnation. You take it as consolidation. There's a difference. Stagnation is the old identity coasting. Consolidation is the new identity taking root. And the most specific version of new ground looks like this. You stop waiting to feel certain before you act like yourself. You just act like yourself. And notice slowly that the room is starting to feel familiar. I want you to carry this one today. Where in your life right now are you reading unfamiliarity as failure? And what would change if you read it as arrival instead? If you're standing in new ground right now, perhaps the floor feels less solid than you expected. The no-cost identity clarity call is that conversation, not to tell you something is wrong, to help you see that what you're feeling has a name, and that isn't failure. The link is in the show notes. Tomorrow, we go to the first pattern. The shift happened. Behavior hasn't caught up yet. You're still looking over your shoulder, still hedging a bit. We name that gap tomorrow. You're not behind. You're on new ground. New ground? It's supposed to feel like this. With strength and heart, I'm Sean Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.